Hey, super excited to see all of you guys today. I wish I could see all of your faces, but we'll just have to do it over chat and Zoom. I wish I had a prize like this, whatever, 10 years ago when I started my first ecom business. So I'm super pumped to hear the stories and pitches from our finalists, and hope you guys enjoy the show.
Awesome. Grant, over to you.
Thank you, Ashley. Hi, everyone. Real excited to be here. Thank you to eCom Week for having me. My name is Grant. I'm currently General Manager of ClearX, which is an initiative within Clearco to help our portfolio founders sell their businesses. Previous to this role, I've been an e-commerce and also SaaS entrepreneur. Very much looking forward to hearing the pitches today.
Awesome. And on that note, let's get started. We'll have 10 minutes of pitch presentation from each of our founders that we've got on deck here for all of you today. In addition to time for a couple questions from our judges here to each of the founders who are pitching. I believe our first founder here that we have today is Anna Masalka from Zenimal. Zenimal is on a mission to make the world a kinder, more peaceful place with screen-free mindfulness devices and solutions. So without further ado, Anna, I'll leave it to you. You have 10 minutes.
All right. Hi, I'm Anna Peterson-Maxalka. I'm the founder of Zenimal, and I am on a mission to make the world a better place, one screen-free, mindful breath at a time. So my journey to Zenimal started at a very early age. When I was about 6 years old, I started having night terrors. I would go to sleep fine, and then I would wake up in an inconsolable panic, and my dad would rush in and often sit with me for hours just trying to get me to calm down. This eventually evolved into just chronic anxiety and eventually depression, and it made it really hard to live kind of a normal childhood. So they recruited the help from a clinical psychologist, and over the course of several months, she taught me how to control my breath, relax my body, and visualize my happiest place. And this reversed the course of my life. I could go to slumber parties and sleepovers and field trips without my parents having to tag along. I continued to use mindfulness throughout my life, and in 2015, I welcomed my first child into the world, and it was amazing and beautiful. But I remember sitting with her in the hospital and looking down at her beautiful face and thinking, oh, what if she has the anxiety thing, and what if she has night terrors, and what am I going to do for her? And so I started looking around at different solutions. I found a lot of apps and YouTube videos, which is fantastic, and the amount of awareness and around mental health and meditation has grown immensely since I was a child. So I'm very, very grateful. For me, though, I just couldn't imagine handing her a cell phone and saying, go to bed, go be mindful, because I just don't think that's what these devices are designed for. So I took it upon myself to start looking to see if this is something that other kids and possibly adults could use. I came across the statistic from the CDC that the second leading cause of death for kids aged 10 to 14 is suicide. That rate has increased 56% over the last decade, and we start to look at what has happened as a society in the last 10 years, and we see social media and screens everywhere. We need a break from this. So I started meeting with industrial engineers. I took several trips to China. I wanted this to be a device that I felt really good leaving in my own children's bed. In 2018, I got a phone call that my dad had been suddenly and unexpectedly hospitalized. And I flew home, and walking into the ICU, I never could have been prepared for that. The nurses and the doctors in there were panicked. Everybody, the energy was just heightened. And I looked at my stepmom and I said, I don't know what to do. And she said, you know what? Your dad really likes those meditations that you started recording for Zenimal. Why don't you just start playing those? And so I did. And his heart rate came down, and the room as a whole took a collective breath. And it was a magical, amazing moment that I will never forget. And it was in that moment that I realized that this is not just for children, this is for everybody. Everybody needs this. And my dad passed away that night. And he was an amazing human being who helped hundreds of people in his lifetime. So I am now on a mission to turn his hundreds into millions. So what is Zenimal? Zenimal is a screen-free mindfulness device. It plays 9 guided meditations at the press of a button, as well as 3 sleep sounds. And this portable, lightweight solution helps improve sleep, manage anxiety and depression, increase focus, elevate empathy and gratitude. The silicone shell is an FDA-approved food grade. It is removable and it is dishwasher safe. There is a earphone jack and speaker for 2 audio options, and the rechargeable lithium polymer battery lasts up to 18 hours. So since launching in November of 2019, we've created a lot of fans along the way. I can't count how many times I've heard the word game changer, and my kid cannot sleep without this in their room. Our online community has been incredible, posting organically about how much it's helped their children and themselves and brought them together as a family for mindfulness practices. So our target audience it's not a small target, and then there's actually 2. We fall under the meditation market and the sleep market. Meditation and mindfulness is the fastest growing health trend in America, with 40% of adults reporting weekly meditation and breathwork sessions. 30% of adults suffer from insomnia, and between 60 and 70% of kids don't get enough sleep, which can lead to obesity, poor mental health, and attention and behavioral problems. We know mindfulness works. It can help manage stress, reduce physical pain, lower blood pressure, and alleviate the symptoms of depression. It's also been shown to improve focus and overall life satisfaction. So like I mentioned before, there's a lot of resources out there. Many of them are app-based. There are sleep sound machines that help with sleep, but don't offer a meditation solution. There are little jukeboxes for kids, but those require app curation. And there are programs, books, and cards, and school programs, but those are very expensive or require a grown-up supervision. Zenimal gives kids autonomy over their own wellness and mindfulness practice. So how we're building our moat around the company and our defensibility is through strong institution partnerships. Both children's and general hospitals are purchasing in high volumes, not only for patients, but for staff wellness programs as well. Schools are another large part of our B2B sales channel. So there's a ton of ways that we can expand. Really, the sky is the limit. Ages 0 to 100 can benefit from mindfulness. By the end of this year, we'll have 7 cards, including a Spanish kids meditation card. And in next year, I hope to expand into the military, helping veterans and active duty military with PTSD, anxiety, and stress. I also hope to get into every nursing home, helping to alleviate the symptoms of aging with meditation. So I've bootstrapped Zenimal 100%. I've taken 0 outside funding to date, and the Zenimal passes 11 certifications, including Prop 65. Our primary sales channel is to direct to consumer through our website, and our main focus is paid, organic, and influencer marketing on Facebook and Instagram. We also launched Pinterest, Google, and SMS and email earlier this year, and are working on our YouTube channel for the end of Q4. We're also ramping up our B2B sales team and hope to solidify retail partnerships by the end of the year as well. So our financials look a little bit like this. Our lifetime revenue over the course of 21 months is $1.1 million, and we will finish out 2021 with $1.3 million. Our returning customer rate continues to increase as we expand the product line, and our average order value is $82. We sold over 18,000 Zenimals, and we've had 80 returned because they didn't like it, and we have a 0.8% defect rate. 5% of our profits go to the Precious Dreams Foundation, which helps children in foster care get the sleep they need and the help they need to learn those tools. So I once asked my dad what he thought the key to his success was. And he said, I have always surrounded myself with people who I wanted good things for and who wanted good things for me. And that is what I continue to strive for every day. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that I got to be here, and I'm surrounded by all of you amazing, amazing people.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anna, for being so real with us and sharing your story. We all appreciate any mission-driven work that founders seek to do. So thank you so much for sharing your personal story with us and your mission. I'm going to go over to our judges from the Clearco team. I'm sure I saw Daniel in particular taking some notes. I'm sure they have some great questions for you about the business.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love what you're building and the story behind it. So first off, thank you for sharing all that. One part that piqued my interest, you mentioned at the very end of your return customer rate, and then you also mentioned you have this huge investment, or rather huge engagement from the community. So my question is tied to those two things of today in the business, what drives someone to come back to repurchase? Like, is it another unit, or what is that? And then over time, you had mentioned these cards. If you can talk to us a bit more about that, of what's your vision for whether it's a recurring revenue stream or a kind of return customer strategy. I would love to understand both of those things.
Sure, yeah. So our returning customer rate, they come back for several reasons. This is a big gift. So birthday gifts, holiday gifts. So that would be a reason to return. It's also something that where if the parent is not sure it's going to work for their family, they'll order one. And then if they have 3 children, they'll come back and purchase 2 more. As far as reoccurring revenue stream, I'm looking at a subscription model for the cards once I can accumulate enough of a library for that. And so as we continue to launch new cards, we'll retarget through marketing efforts, announcing those additions to our product line.
And just a clarification on the card, does the card unlock different content?
Yeah, so sorry about that. There is an SD, a little micro SD slot here.
Got it.
And all of the meditations are loaded onto a micro SD, so those are interchangeable.
Very cool.
Hi, Anna. Congrats on all your success. I love the purpose. I have a four-year-old, and we do our best to not give him screen time, although we find that quite challenging. So I totally get it. My question is, you mentioned you do your sales primarily on D2C. What does that mean? Does that mean you have not really tapped into Amazon yet? And the reason why, so the question is, do you have an Amazon strategy? And the reason why I asked that question is because the baby or kids category in Amazon is super red hot right now. It's a massive market. And what I like about your category more specifically is that it's a huge market, and it remains still largely untapped. It's like I mentioned, it's a popular category on Amazon. It's a durable good. It's driven on reviews. I did a quick glance of some, like, they're not direct competitors, but they're products that are kind of in your category, and they seem to be doing, well into the 6 figures on a monthly basis in terms of revenue. So question is that something you intend to do, or if so, what the plan looks like?
Yeah, I do have an Amazon store open. I just don't have any products up there, and that's primarily I'm running the company by myself. I don't have any full-time employees as of date, and so I'm looking to hire somebody that would take on that Amazon. I didn't want to go on and sort of half do it and then fail and not be able to fulfill. Inventory has also, I'm sure I'm not the first person to say that inventory has been challenging supply chains, and now with looks like power shortages that we're facing in China. I just don't want to commit to things that I can't back up, and to constantly be sold out is something that is not helpful to parents that are looking for solutions. But absolutely, you're 100% right. There is a need on Amazon, and if you type in Zenimal, people are already searching Amazon for it. So I definitely see the need, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
Well, one small question. You mentioned AOV at $82. So what is the product retail for?
$59.99.
Okay, cool. So folks are buying more than one, I guess.
Yeah, and then the cards as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Any
you.
other final thoughts, Daniel? Questions before we wrap up here?
Yeah, my question was relating more to constraints on growth. So you'd mentioned, obviously, you're doing this on your own. And so I imagine more people and more help is part of that. But I actually want to narrow in on the inventory constraint. And it seems like if you were to add up all the keyword demand, if you were to add up, I'm sure there are many hospital, like demand to me, which is great, theoretically doesn't seem like the issue. It's more fulfilling that demand in a thoughtful way. From a capital planning perspective, have you thought through how much would you actually need in terms of external investment to fulfill the pent up demand that you're forecasting to hit your 1.3 or more next year?
Yeah. So this year I've been able to purchase through just cash flow, all the inventory I'll need for our projections through the end of the year. But next year we are in talks with a retail partner that would greatly increase our need for inventory. And with long lead times, it's probably looking like that investment will need to be about $500,000.
Got it. Amazing.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much time here. So thanks again, Anna,
Yeah.
for a fantastic presentation and a mindful mission to start our Monday morning with. And congratulations so much on your success. Over $1 million in sales. Like that's pretty impressive in such a short period. So yeah, thanks so much. Kwai from the FitVille. And at FitVille, they believe that everyone can enjoy an active lifestyle regardless of age, gender, body shape, or foot problems. So James built FitVille, the world's most comfortable sneakers, especially for those 35 years and older. So James has another presentation for us here today. He's our second founder up here to pitch to the Clearco team. And without further ado, James, I'll let you take it away. You have 10 minutes to present.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. My name's James Kwai. I'm presenting FitVille, my project I've been doing for 2 years. We aim to be the #1 global athleisure brand for 35 and plus population. A little bit about myself, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I was co-founder of 5miles.com. It's one of the largest mobile marketplace in the United States. I have 2 master's degrees, one in finance from Tsinghua University, another in market research from University of Texas. And actually, all my career in marketing, marketing pro. I'm a former WPP director and former market researcher. Used to work for Lieberman Research. Right now, my team comprised of 30 people. We have 7 marketing pros, 3 visual pros, 7 supply chain pros, 2 logistic, and all the backend customer service staff. So basically, we're looking at a huge market, which is athleisure. Athleisure shoe market is worth $300 billion. And when we do the market research, we see this is the only growing market in all the shoe market. All the leather shoes and stuff are declining. And of course, North America and Europe are the biggest globally. Among other consumers, we are targeting baby boomers and Gen X as our prime targets. They are huge in size and they have a great purchasing power and social wealth. And they love shoes. Guess what? They buy 7 pairs of shoes every year with a big spending. And these people are young-minded. They love travel, fitness, outdoor, and all that. So when we were approaching these people, also based on my working experience, I lived and worked in Texas and California for a long time. We're seeing a lot of pain points that are unmet and also differentiating needs. Like, these people, they're older, mid-aged and stuff. Many of them, they have foot problems like flat feet, crunched arches, plantar fasciitis, hematoes. Are very, very common among these people. And 81% of the overweight people suffer from foot problems and as well as pain. And also uncomfortable shoes are causing sports injuries. So these people, they care a lot about comfort, about health, and they are looking for product innovations and new trendy brand designs. On the right side, we are talking about the supply. Although there are big brands like Nike and Adidas, for sure, New Balance, we don't see enough product innovations that are meeting the demands of this group of people. Therefore, I spend a lot of time to design this brand for this particular group of people. So our vision is to bring the joy of exercise to all, regardless of your age, of your gender, of your body shape. So 2 years ago, when I was first into this market, I worked with top designers to design a new patented sole, which shoe companies, they are high-tech companies. The technology is mostly in the sole design and material innovations. We designed this 5-in-1 sole with heel support, with shock absorbing pad, with dual density rebound materials and arch support insoles. We also offer double width upper. We have wide and extra wide, offering roomy and comfortable experience. Besides that, we also have like high instep design and non-skid rubber also. So the shoe we designed, is very economic and extremely comfortable, as evidenced by many customers. We have pretty delicate designs, and we work with the supply chain directly. We source directly from factories. So today, our product lines are expanding from one type and one style to more. Currently we have 2 walking shoes, 1 running shoe, a tennis shoe, and we're offering some outdoor shoes in September and October. Besides that, we also offer some accessories like insoles and socks. So the reason I pick footwear category as the best entry point is it's pretty tough to produce good athletic shoes. There is a high threshold for competitors to enter. It's high R&D requirement, long cycle of production, and high technical difficulty. Besides that, different from like women's clothing, there's no fashion risk associated, which means the inventory this year, I can also sell them next year. So regarding the growth drivers, we're expanding SKUs. And this year, besides our D2C channel, we also opened Amazon. And Amazon sales has grew like 20 times in 6 months. In terms of regions, we're expanding from English-speaking countries to German-speaking countries as well. And in the future, we plan to add more clothing lines with health and comfort tags. Talking about the sales growth, our sales grew pretty fast. Our sales grew 35 times in 18 months. I hate the exact numbers, but we're hitting $2 million in quarterly revenue. Not only that, we're seeing really strong brand momentum for a young brand. The common rate is 10%. On Amazon, the average is 1 to 2%. You guys probably know better, but it's pretty high common rate. And the repeat purchase is 20% for 9 months cohort. And order from active brand searching on Amazon is already 22%. And also in terms of the ARPU, we are much higher. We're over $100. The industry average for athletic shoes is $40 to $50. And our gross margin is also much higher than Allbirds and On, which went IPO this year. So here we can see some typical user reviews. They say they're unbelievably comfortable. I have no sooner sleep in 1 foot than I knew they're different. They compare us to Nike or New Balance, but they say we're much better than those brands. Here is another typical user. They have a bunion, a bump, some foot problems. They buy a pair of our shoes. They think they're living in heaven. So here's some similar ones. This guy started out with Nike in 1971, and they find out about us right now. They give all their Nike shoes to younger folks. This is another similar one. They buy 3 pairs of our FitVille shoes, and they just love how they feel. Here, is our some cooperations we have dealt with opinion leaders on YouTube. So yeah, this is my presentation. I pretty fastly went through the whole thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm ready for questions. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, James. I'm sure we have several of those for you from our fantastic judges here. Grant, did you want to start off with some questions for James?
Yeah, James, congrats on all your success.
Thank you.
I on slide number 3, you mentioned that folks buy 7.4 shoes per year. That's really good news to me because I'm a recovering sneakerhead and I don't feel as guilty. I don't need to justify it to my wife anymore. But I got into this, I guess I'll kind of reveal my age, but I got into the sneaker game in 1990 with the Air Jordan 5s. My mom bought those for me. And ever since then, I've kind of been a consumer in this industry. And one of the things that I've noticed is that the way the Nikes and the Adidas and New Balance, the way these guys grow is they use heavily influencers and sponsors and endorsers, right? So my question is, and I know you're in a slightly different segment, but how do you compete with that kind of marketing budget? We're talking, billions of dollars in marketing, shiny and super popular names attached to them. So how do you compete with those guys?
Well, I think in terms of all the consumer product industry, the fundamental thing is still the product, and we really put a lot of efforts and iterations to produce really good product. Like Nike Air, with the new sole design, they sell the shoes for like 50 years. With our sole design, I think we can also produce iterations of good products at very reasonable prices. Similar products from the big brands, they can easily sell for over $150, but we sell much lower than that. And this is number one. Number two, I think in an internet age, I know you're an Amazon guru, right? User reviews are more important, many times more important than like big name stars, celebrities, because those are the real people. And we work with a lot of like grassroots opinion leaders. Those people all have their different hubs of fans, and we work with many of them. We work with like 500 of them. That's as powerful as a big name star. That's number one. And number two, when we get bigger and when we have more capital, we can also work with a big name like sports athletes or retired athletes, like did. Work with the tennis star later in their brand development. So we are not scared of that. If all entrepreneurs are scared of big brands, then there will be no startups, right? Yeah.
Cool. Well, I have. We're talking sneakers. I could be talking about sneakers all day, but I'll let Dan take a crack at asking you a question.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned you mentioned On as kind of one of the comparables of a brand that's grown and being able to compete in this relatively competitive space with their own unique sole design and all that. And I, in my head, think of them as a running dominant brand, which may not be true in general, but that's my view as a independent consumer. And one part that I'd love to get your take on is if I'm a consumer, I guess maybe word differently. Who would you be your early adopter of this product? What is the specific use case or problem that you solve with your sole design? That is your number one of like, oh, if you have problem X or you do sport Y, here's the brand for you. And I would love to understand that because it sounds like you can service lots of different people with your offering. And so that was unclear to me.
Yeah, so thank you for asking that. Because we are D2C, so we work with consumers every single day, customers. And the two key words they mentioned, number one is plantar fasciitis, very common. And number two will be like flat feet or heel pain. And they tell us our shoes really help with that. And many of them, they work in restaurants or warehouses or retail. They need to like stand for 8 hours or 10 hours a day. they tell us they use our shoes, their feet don't hurt anymore, which give us a lot of sense of achievement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then I wonder, for the competitive set, to me, it seems like it's a functional pitch. And I suffer from plantar fasciitis in my left foot, so I understand it, but I'm also very athletic. So in my head, half of me is like, I'm still going to stick with Nike because that's like the athletic brand. But it sounds like your early adopters are the ones who are using this in their everyday trade and their jobs and things like that. Who would be the main competitors you're facing day to day in that specific segment? And how are you thinking about branding and marketing against those?
Yeah, there are a couple of brands. One is called Kuru Footwear. I think it's from Utah. Another is Also Fit. So they are mainly serving the functional and baby boomer market, and we are competing with them a lot. But their price is really expensive. Don't quote me on that, but they're selling for like over $150 for a pair of sneakers, which we're selling for much lower price tag, but which is much better. Well, I think better function, designs, and general looking. So we are confident. Yeah.
Would you consider Vionic shoes to be one of your competitors as well? I know they focus specifically on plantar fasciitis as well.
They're going at a more like fashionable. I know they have a lot of like women's more fashionable shoes. We're more like we're more athletic. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Yeah.
Awesome. Any final thoughts from our resident sneakerhead, Grant?
I mean, I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that sales were going fast. Maybe I missed it, but are you able to share with us sales numbers in the past 12 months?
Yeah, well, my quarterly number is about like Q3. We're Q3 right now. We're about $2 million, which was 1 million quarter before, and we're doubling every single quarter basically. We're looking for big goal in Q4, which is of course Q4 is the busiest among.
Right, and one last question: is the plan to say D2C, or do you have plans to go retail on this as well?
Yeah, well, if not for the epidemic, probably I'm already opening some stores. But for right now, we're just D2C and Amazon, and probably we'll get into like Walmart.com and some other like Zappos, some other like vertical channels as well. For the near future, it's e-commerce.
Cool. I mean, my feedback is, I mean, I agree with Dan. I think if there was a better way to like position the brand, whether this is like athletic or just folks that are working standing on their feet all day long. I think if we're able to kind of if we see the name FitVille, what are we thinking right off the bat? I think if we're able to get a better positioning in terms of that, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. So I think the values of the brand or the benefits of brand will be health driven. That's number one. Number two is comfort. Number three is technology. These three keywords.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is when I think of brands like Asics or New Balance or even Nike, I'm thinking like my wife ran a marathon and she doesn't like Nike because she says Nike's not good for marathon. It's brands like Asics and New Balance that are better for your feet. But yours is like, I'm not able to see exactly where it fits in. Whereas like, again, Asics, I think, okay, long distance runner, Nike, a lot of show, it's more leisure. But I think if there was some clear positioning in terms of that would be.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. For the people who are looking for comfort, they come to us. If you're looking for run a marathon, they don't necessarily come to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Comfort. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's all the time we have today for questions from James at FitVille. So thanks, James, for getting us on a strong footing here with your overview of FitVille. See what I did there? It's Monday. Let's keep everyone on their toes. So thanks, James, for fielding all of those questions. We're going to move on to our next founders, actually, from Kind Laundry. We have Angie and Bernard over at Kind Laundry. So Kind Laundry is a purpose-driven company whose mission is to ban single-use plastics from polluting our oceans and landfills, while simultaneously providing people with a more eco-friendly laundry cleaning solution. So at Kind Laundry, they keep sustainability at the core of everything that they do at every single step of their business operations by offering innovative, greener, and safer ways to do laundry that will keep your clothes clean and the planet fresh and happy. So in less than a year, they've actually eliminated over 100,000 single-use plastic jugs, and they give back to the Cambodia Water Purification Program, which provides locally made ceramic water purifiers to Cambodian families so that they can have access to clean, safe drinking water that also protects Cambodia's vulnerable forests. So without further ado, I will give it over to our co-founders, Bernard and Angie at Kind Laundry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angie, and this is my partner, Bernard, and our company is Kind Laundry.
To begin, I would like to share a shocking fact with you. Did you know that close to 1 billion plastic detergent jugs gets discarded into our landfills and ocean each and every single year in just the US alone? To put that into perspective, we dump the equivalent of 1 garbage truckload of plastic into the ocean every single minute. So you might ask, what happens to the plastic that we throw into our recycling bin? Well, less than 10% of that plastic is actually recycled, and then the rest of it gets exported into developing nations where they either incinerate it or they push it back into the ocean. In fact, by 2025, we're going to have more plastic in the ocean than fish. Now, let me ask you this question. Don't you find it really odd that if you look around your home, such as your kitchen or bathroom, there are sustainable alternative products that you currently own, or maybe you can think of? But when it comes to your laundry room, why are most people still using the same old plastic detergent jug for the past 7 decades? It is time for us to turn the tide on single-use plastic once and for all. Our Kind Laundry detergent sheets are fully biodegradable and only contains 5 plant-derived ingredients. Let me demonstrate quickly how to use it. It is as easy as popping 1 sheet into your washing machine, and you would hit start. It's really that simple. There's absolutely no measuring required. And for larger loads such as bedding, use up to 3 sheets. And each one of our boxes comes with 60 sheets. The current global laundry detergent market is estimated to be $80 billion. By 2027, this market is expected to grow to over $100 billion. Tide, being the largest detergent brand, owns 30% of this market share. And as popular as 7th Generation is, they only represent 1 to 2% of market share. This leaves a tremendous opportunity for in the laundry detergent space for new brands and new innovation. And as big as this market is, and even though everyone in this world does laundry, our target demographic are young millennials with children that are looking for an eco-friendly and safer alternative for their family. We also find that many of our customers are seniors who are buying it for very similar reasons, but also struggle to handle these heavy detergent jugs.
So why does the market need Kind Laundry? Well, conventional detergents contain more than 25 toxic ingredients that's harmful for the planet, your laundry, and your health. They're made up of mostly water and unnecessary surfactants like UV brighteners, dyes, and suds to give you the illusion to clean your clothes better, but it's actually not. Kind Laundry detergent sheets only contain 5 plant-derived and non-toxic ingredients, including our proprietary tea seed oil, and has the same, if not stronger cleaning power than conventional detergent. This is super important because if you look at your body, the skin is your largest organ. So when you wear clothes and sweat throughout the day, your pores open up and pull in the toxins from the harmful chemicals. This is why sometimes workout clothes have a funky smell, because your sweat mixes in with the layer of detergent that coats your clothes. Best of all, there is no messy measuring cups, and all of our shoes are pre-measured and pre-cut. Now, when it comes to our direct competitors, most detergents are priced between 45 cents to 60 cents per load. Kind laundry detergent sheets are priced as low as 28 cents per load. Most of the sheets on the market contain fillers such as starch and PEG. Our formulation does not contain any of this. Right now, we're working with labs and chemists to find more sustainable surfactants that are plant-derived, does not tap into the food system, and cleans clothes more effectively under hard water and cold water, which is a current challenge right now in the laundry industry. This means we're priced competitively in the market, and we have the best overall value, which is number one, higher quality ingredients, number two, the ease of use, and it's much better for the environment. Kind Laundry launched last year in August 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, and had been active in the market for 9 months. To date, we have done $1.3 million in sales, which equates to over 100,000 plastic jugs from going to the landfills and oceans. By the end of this next 12 months, we projected to do approximately $2 million in revenue. Our main channel is DTC, where we have a subscription model, and that accounts for 50% of our revenue. And we were selected by Amazon to be part of their Climate Pledge program early this year, which we quickly became one of the fastest growing eco-friendly products in the household category. We're also invited by them to join their Amazon Baby Registry program, but due to the fact that we're still a startup, we couldn't afford it at the moment. But most importantly, we're the highest rated detergent sheet brand with 4.7-star rating. This means the more happy customers, the more subscribed and savers there will be on the platform, which is an important part of our business model. We're currently in over 300 retail stores and recently launched in Well.ca in Canada and Thrive Mark in the US. We have forecasted plans with the distributor in Canada to launch nationally across Canada the next couple of years, and it'll be at over 8-figure PO opportunity. This fall, we have been selected to do an exciting activation with Showfields, a retail concept that showcases innovative and up-and-coming brands at the Miami location to share our story and our product. We also won the Big Find competition hosted by QVC and HSN, which grants us the opportunity to showcase a product live on their TV network. Most of our customers find and connect with us through our social media channels, where we're very active on across all platforms, from educating them about our products and showing them the behind the scenes of how we build our company. We still personally pick up every single call and check as many customer comments and feedback as possible across our channels to better understand what drove them to buy our product in the first place and how we can further improve our product. We're currently working on creating new formulations in the pipeline based on this insight. So just a quick background about us and why Kind Laundry means so much to us. We're passionate about sustainability and try our best to be more conscious of what we consume. We love animals, explore nature, and we eat a plant-based diet. Kind Laundry is a way for us to make a direct impact to the planet and inspire others to do the same.
We've been very fortunate to have been featured in a number of publications such as Fast Company, Refinery 29, and Chatelaine. However, our most notable feature was winning the Best Eco-Friendly Laundry Detergent Award of 2021 by Better Homes and Gardens magazine out of the 200 products that they studied and tested, and many of which are the biggest names in the CPG industry. In the next couple of years, we would like to partner with sustainable slow fashion brands to get our brands across to like-minded consumers. We also see a big opportunity with teaming up with companies in other verticals, such as travel, outdoors, and sports, to cross-promote our brands. This is a huge marketing opportunity because you don't often see this done with conventional detergent companies. Last but not least, we will continue to work with our chemists to stay ahead in innovation and use sustainable and bio-based ingredients. We're extremely grateful that we have this opportunity this morning to present Kind Laundry to you. Regardless of today's outcome from this pitch competition, we're going to continue our mission to tackle the plastic pollution crisis while providing a safer and more effective laundry detergent alternative. Thank you very much, and we now open up to any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bernard and Angie, for your fantastic presentation and telling us more about how we can be kinder to ourselves, our laundry, and our planet, it seems. So yeah, tackling single-use plastics is definitely a key driver for a lot of what I consider to be the conscientious consumers. Who would you say are your main competitors in the space, and what are you most concerned about when it comes to growth and market share?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously with laundry detergent, we can pretty much talk to anybody in this world. So we don't see our main competitors as any of the big CPG names that you can think of, because I truly believe that there is a customer base out there that's looking for something very particular, that's zero waste and also has a better ingredients. There are several competitors out there right now that is doing a very similar format. However, we also don't see ourselves being positioned similarly to what they're doing, just because we focus so much on innovation as well as branding ourselves versus then making the quick transaction and then on to the next customer. So we focus a lot on our community and as well as building our brand.
So to give you an example, this is our competitor, our biggest competitor, and it's very small and it's very hard, and it's 50% starch, which is a cheap filler. But they just want to scale. So we take our time to really work with our chemists, and we bring in a lot of experts in to help us make this to be as clean as possible. So this is the biggest differentiator between our product and competitors. And we do look 2-3 years down the line. This format will be the future laundry. We know that. So we're working on things that like companies probably aren't right now in terms of formulation innovation.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Very true. I have a question to build on this. I spent my whole career prior to what I'm doing now working with Procter and Gamble and Unilever and all the folks who their last innovation was single unit dose, which was basically Tide Pods and all their competitors. And actually Tide share is, unless it dropped tremendously, it was like over majority of the market. It was pretty crazy. And the reason I bring this up, because I'd like to understand a bit more about the IP behind your formulation and design. Because even if today P&G and the players are not in the space, they have as many engineers that work on a jet engine working on, for example, if you look at Tide Pods, they spent years and years trying to figure out what is the right speed at which I inject liquids into a plastic bubble to make the Tide Pods thing work. And they had a massive team in an office. And so if this is truly the future of distribution for laundry, and I think it is, especially for D2C, my main concern is that it won't take a long time for a brand like Procter & Gamble to out-engineer it unless there is some proprietary IP that you can defend, and ultimately that is value for P&G to partner on or acquire. So I'd love if you could talk more about that.
Yeah, that's actually a very great point and feedback. We actually got contacted by one of the biggest, you actually named them already, and they want to carry our product as part of the product line. I actually onboarded or we're talking to an environmental chemist who is the head of the Battelle World Detergent Program, and he works with all the biggest players. He knows all the data. And the biggest issue right now is these CPG companies, like you said, laundry detergent, especially liquid, is an art. So it takes a lot of engineers and chemists to kind of figure out how to make and formulate them. So it takes time to get into market, and they try to. It's interesting. There's actually one brand that's under one of their labels that tried to market this particular product. They private labeled it, but they didn't get any traction. And if you look at the comments, they were calling them out because they were from a CPG company. It's like, hey, you're jumping on a trend. How like they were just pretty much saying that you created the crisis in the first place, but yet you're selling this, so it doesn't really align. So we're a bit confused about what you're trying to do. So those are the type of comments that we see from them trying to launch this particular similar product. But also the most important thing is that, yeah, after speaking to a bunch of chemists who is an expert in the field, they did say that detergent sheets is something that everyone's trying to figure out right now. It's going to take probably a long time for people to understand how to manufacture it the way we do, and also innovate in formulation. So I actually work with 50 different manufacturers, and we chose one that's been doing this for 15 years. And we do believe that we have a really good R&D team that can actually create what we need to make us really different from what the CPG companies are.
But more from like an IP ownership perspective, what is stopping the larger consumer packaged good companies from identifying the same manufacturer and just saying, hey, I'd like the exact same formulation under our brand. And the reason I'm driving this point home is if you look at, for example, Tile versus the AirTags. Tile was the dominant player in the, hey, if you lost your keys, here's the solution, until Apple one day woke up to the market and said, hey, here's our solution. It's superior because of our network. And ultimately, there's no reason for you to buy Tile now once you have an Apple AirTag. And so I'm just thinking kind of a few years ahead of how you're thinking about that, only because CPG is such a ruthlessly competitive space. That's my main concern longer term for the business.
Yeah, of course, we're going to patent a lot of formulations. We're talking about with the consultants to talk about proprietary blends, but we're still testing a lot. So we're only 9 months into the market. So we're trying to understand product market fit. So like what I said, we're picking up every single call. We're looking at comments to see, is this a formulation that they're happy with? Is there anything that we can do to make it better? But after collecting a bit more feedback and insight for customers, and we're working on different formulations, I'll give you an example. One that last we're working with, they're commercializing a surfactant that's plant-based, does not tap into the food source system, and that works better under hard water and cold water conditions, because as you know, that's a huge problem in the laundry industry. But even the CPG companies don't have access to this surfactant yet. It's not even commercialized. They know that we're a small company, but they want to work with us because of our brand or mission. So that's how deep we're getting to in terms of innovation. And of course, once it gets there and it's commercialized and we add it to our formulation, then we're going to talk about getting a patent for it and IP and stuff. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think Angie pretty much captured it, and you know, we are still innovating quite a bit, because a lot of customer that we get feedback from is like, you know, why aren't you adding this enzyme or that enzyme into our detergent sheets? But there's a lot of R&D that's involved as well, because with the sheet format, it's very different from a liquid or a powder, and the advocacy is very different in how some of these surfactants would survive in different types of conditions. So we also try to figure out what is the best, most effective way to remove stains or dirt or oil stains within the sheet format. So until we figure all that out, until we have that perfect formula, which I mean, a lot of customers do love our formula currently, but we still think there is room to improve. And until we get there, you know, patenting and IP is a very expensive process, especially for a company like ours that's only 9 months in. But it's definitely something that we are keeping in the back of our mind 100%.
I think that's why that large CPG company that you referred to contacted us to carry a product, because they're not marketers. They're, like you said, they have resources in terms of like chemistry, but they just want to get a product onto the market really fast. And they're actually really slow to market in general because they're such a huge firm. So they're looking for smaller companies to be the innovators, to be the brand builders, so that they can either buy out or they can just carry our product. So, yeah.
We have a question from the audience. You have a captive audience hanging on every word here to figure out how to be kinder. The audience, our question from the audience is, have you been rated on EWG yet? For anyone who's not familiar, EWG is the Environmental Working Group, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that helps rate sustainable brands.
That's a great question. We're actually in the middle of applying for that, as well as Safer Choice as well. It's been 2 months already, and the process takes 6 months because they have to ask for your raw ingredient manufacturers. We have to give all the information. They have to contact them. So it's a long process, but we're also in the middle of speaking to these organizations to get certified, as well as when we have more funding, it'd be a dream to also be part of Cradle too.
Cool. And have you considered the Think Dirty app or Yuka as well?
Yes, we've actually had other brands in the past, and we were on Think Dirty, so we love to be a part of that as well in the future.
Cool, thank you. Daniel, did you have a follow-up?
No. Toss to Grant to see if you have any other thoughts.
I'm assuming we don't have much time, but I was curious. First of all, a huge problem, great solution, great mission. I was wondering, you know, what the origin story is. Who are you guys, other than that you're passionate about sustainability and you ate plant-based?
Yeah, so we're our background has always been in marketing and digital marketing for the past, I would say probably around 5 years now. So the reason why we can quickly, sort of get Kind Laundry off and running within this 9-month period is just based on all the experiences that we had with social media advertising, knowing how Google works, knowing how to build a website very quickly. So we sort of have this entire launch plan, that we worked on for months and months, and very fortunate for us that we were sold out on that very first month that we launched.
Yeah, another platform that was very important that we had experience in was Amazon FBA. It's a love-hate relationship with Amazon, but we're very lucky that we've had actually experienced launching 2 other products on there, and we are part of their program, so we have support with them. So what normally takes 6 months to launch on the platform took us 2 weeks, and then we were able to scale pretty fast on that platform too.